What's up, everybody? Trad West Podcast back at you. Gonna do a little bit more of a solo actual podcast episode today. Although it's on a topic I didn't really see myself needing to create a video for, and I probably should have done it a couple weeks ago, but it's still wintertime somewhere, so I'm gonna talk just a little bit about, we'll see how long I can go on this topic, but given it's winter, and I've already been seeing a bunch of, people that don't know how to drive, being idiots, crashing, not having proper supplies. We're going to, I guess, talk about driving and basically snow or any type of inclement weather, really, and just preparedness can go into that too, because nobody's prepared. They don't have supplies in their houses to last them like one freaking day or a couple days just to wait for the ice to melt. They're either trying to get out on the roads where it's dangerous, and then they're needing rescued, or they're getting in accidents, or they're sitting in their homes all nice and comfy, but they're outraged and trying to get deliveries and stuff to their house because they didn't plan ahead, and putting other people's lives at risk to go out in the weather. So this ain't gonna, this can apply to everyone, because let's talk about inclement weather in general, not just snow, but it's winter time in a lot of places. I'm in the Midwest. They don't really take care of the roads here very well, but we do get inclement weather, and we do have capabilities to clear the roads on, like, down south, Texas and that. I don't think they even have snow plows, etc., that go out. So they had like no driving orders in place for people down there over the last snowstorm they just got. And it really wasn't that much snow. Snow's not really the problem anyway. It's when it's icy. But I live in a rural area. There's a military base nearby. So there's a lot of traffic up and down like one of the rural roads, and it's hilly. And they never clear that. They never clear it. If it starts, I've gotten off work before and had to take it, and I drove my truck, but there's, on the hills, cars getting stuck, cars sliding down the hill, people in ditches. And this last time near Kansas City, there was a major like 200 car pileup. It was like a few weeks ago when we got like the initial burst of snow. So first and foremost, people, if it's inclement weather, especially if it's ice or snow, but even if it's like pouring down rain or something like that, super high winds, slow down, okay? You're not going to get there any quicker if you're dead or you get in an accident, and it's just not smart. Slow down. People end up in ditches, going off the road when there's even the slightest inclement weather, because they still think they can drive 70 or 80 miles per hour. I don't care how good your brakes are. If it's slick, it's not going to work. That's why I drive all old vehicles, so you kind of have to hit on the brakes hard anyway. I know a lot of people with newer vehicles, they're used to like barely having to hit the brakes, and they can stop in an instant. Well, you can't stop in an instant when it's ice, when it's snow, when it's rain. So just take it slow. Take it slow, people. I'm a Packers fan. I drove one year up to Green Bay, Wisconsin for a Packers game. Oh, yeah. In case you couldn't tell, I'm a Packers fan. And it took an extra probably 2 to 3 hours to get there, because it was snowstorm the entire time, all through Iowa. And I was taking my time. I was willing to drive through it, but I was taking my time. Like, when I say taking my time, 55, 65 mile per hour highways, I was going maybe 30, 35 in some cases. And there's people blowing past me. And hey, more power to you. I wasn't in a truck at that time. I was in a little Toyota Camry. So, never had issues with my Camrys that I drive. They've been pretty good. But people, just take it slow. There's no rush. You don't need to be going 70, 80 miles per hour in inclement weather. You're just causing a hazard for you and everyone else on the road. In cases where these snowstorms, ice storms happen, emergency services, highway patrol, police, they're all super busy already. They don't need extra stuff thrown in on their plate because you just couldn't take a little extra time to get where you were going a few minutes later. Then if you're in a hurry because you're going to be late, leave earlier. Leave earlier to work, leave earlier to get where you need to go. I know not everybody works a job that's going to let them off in inclement weather, but employers out there, when we're talking ice these days, like maybe you should be a little lenient with your employees if it's too dangerous out there. You know, the older generation kind of laughs and scoffs at that. Well, back in my day, we go through. Yeah, guess what? Population has increased by a massive amount. There's a lot more people out on the roads nowadays. Okay. So that just makes it far more dangerous. When you had not as many people out there on the roads driving, it probably wasn't as dangerous and as bad. But we got more stop signs, more everything. It's not just, willy nilly, society has become more civilized. There's more roadblocks, that can cause an issue. You got to make stops more. I remember one time I, was this close to rear-ending somebody at a near stop sign because it just kept sliding, and I was young, kind of dumb, and I was just like hitting on the brake, like, oh, please, please, please. Luckily, it stopped just before, and yeah, be prepared, people. Whether that be if you're going to be at home for a few days, you should always have enough food and water supplies in your house. I would recommend for several weeks at a time, but come on, at least if you know the weather's coming, at least have stuff for a few days. You got people posting on Facebook this last time. They're in their comfort of their home, but they're trying to get fucking groceries and stuff from Walmart or wherever delivered to their house. And this is in a rural area too. So, I mean, it's one thing if you're in a big major city, they probably take care of the roads a little better. And they're not, you might live 5 minutes down the road. But come on, people, like, if you don't want to go out in it because it's too dangerous and crappy out, why are you going to call a delivery service and send somebody else out there in the weather, put their life in harm's way? And, maybe that's just me having a soft spot because I used to deliver pizzas back in the day. My parents owned a pizza shop, and I used to deliver for them once I turned 18. And yeah, of course, when it was pouring down rain or when it was icy and snowy, you got more delivery, more delivery, more delivery. And guess what? It might be worth it if the people were being extra considerate and tipping you extra for going out there and braving the weather. But no, they're not tipping you any more than they are. And sometimes they're not tipping at all. So if you are going to order delivery for things, because there's people that don't care. Hey, it's not that bad. I can drive. I'm not an idiot. And they take advantage of the bad weather because then they'll be less competition, particularly if you're doing stuff like Uber, Uber Eats, whatever all the delivery food things are. I live kind of in the sticks, so I don't have any delivery services other than, UPS, FedEx type stuff. I'm not ordering delivery takeout from restaurants where I live, so I don't get DoorDash and that. But if you're ordering from those places and it's shitty inclement weather, let's be a little more generous at the very least and tip extra. I mean, if it was super dangerous and icy and I ordered and they were out, I'm tipping them probably at least double what I normally would. And I'm a generous tipper anyways, because like I said, I used to deliver pizzas. So, I've been tipped like $20 on pizza delivery tips back in the day. Granted, I worked for my parents, small mom and pop shop. We had a lot of return customers, regulars. We were integrated in the neighborhood. So we kind of knew them. And, also, when you're working in that, I've kind of, used people skills, something you can learn delivering pizzas. Hey, if you're somebody who delivers, and you want to try to capitalize on extra tips, I know this is supposed to be about weather, but I'll share some secrets to that too, because we had a lot of regulars. You get a lot of return customers, um, and you go to their house. I'm a dog person. You're ringing the doorbell, delivering food. Good chance the dogs are storming the door, or even to help yourself out, there could be stray dogs in the neighborhood while you're walking around. So I always kept a box of milk bones, treats, dog treats, in my car. So if I was going to a house that I knew had dogs, or maybe I'll keep some in my pocket just in case it's a new house and they have dogs. And then you always ask them, hey, is it okay if your dogs have a treat? Give them a couple bones for however many animals they have, on top of, pizza box. Here you go. Here's something for the dogs. That goes a long way. Small little gestures like that, okay? Milk bones ain't that expensive. Pay out of pocket. Ask them first. But stuff like that for you delivery people out there, building a relationship, even if, it's important. Maybe you don't care because that's a job that you're not doing long term, but I cared because it was my parents' business, so I wanted them to have a good reputation and give good service. And it goes, a little kindness like that goes a long way. So there's a trick for delivery people. And if you're ordering delivery in inclement weather, let's be a little more generous to the delivery drivers out there. I know, a lot of these Uber Eats and that, I think they already charge you a pretty big fee, so that's probably why a lot of people don't tip. But there's just a lot of assholes out there that are entitled, that like to go out to restaurants and not tip, or delivery and not tip. They don't believe in tips. And that's just whack, okay? That's bogus. Like, if you can't gesture a little extra goodwill and tip, then you don't need to go out to eat. You don't need to order delivery. Cook your own damn meals. So, end of rant there on the tipping. But if you don't want to go out in the weather, don't force other people to either, was where that topic of conversation was supposed to go. 2, if you are going out on it in the weather, have some emergency preparedness items in your vehicle. If it's ice and snow, it's probably pretty dang cold out. Have some extra water. I mean, I always got a water bottle with me. I've heard of some of these new age people making fun of people for carrying water bottles with them all the time. But like, hey, I get thirsty. I like to stay hydrated. But if emergency situation, you might need water. You might be stuck somewhere for several hours and you didn't plan on it. It might be super freaking cold. That 200 car pileup I mentioned. Stuff like that happens all the time. Up north, Buffalo, New York, I'm pretty sure a couple years ago it was, there were people getting stuck on the roads and freezing to death in their vehicles. It happens. So be prepared. At least have like an extra blanket, maybe some gloves, extra coat, hat, something like that, and just keep it in a suitcase or in a Tupperware container in the back of your car. During the winter months, hey, if it's taking up too much space, when it's not winter, take that out. But during summer, same thing. Maybe stuff to keep you cool. Some extra water bottles. Something like that. Sometimes I keep just an extra, I'll buy a little case of bottled water that has like, I don't know, 6 to 12 bottled water. Not a big deal. It's not that expensive. If they do go bad or something sitting out in my car, but I'll just leave it out in my trunk for several weeks at the very least. Like, hey, if I happen to be in a situation where I need water, or I need to give some people water, you got water there. Simple thing is like, hey, you could get in a wreck, you cut yourself, you might need to, use some water to clean a cut or something. But just be prepared. It's not just about being prepared to have your home stocked with stuff to last a few days. Be prepared if you're going out in the weather, in the elements, because you never know if your car is going to break down, going to stall, or if the weather's just too bad that you get stuck. And guess what? Weren't relying on Big Daddy government to come and save you. they're already really busy, and a lot of times they're not, and we're talking natural disasters like FEMA, they're not doing a good job anyway, and they're probably not going to come help you. So help each other out, help yourself out, be prepared, slow down, shop in advance. Like I said, you should have a few, like, it was driving me nuts, people posting on Facebook about, do you know of anywhere delivering? We need groceries. Like, you knew this was coming for at least several days. You don't at least have, like, some canned goods in your house that you can eat for a day or two? Like, around here, this was the longest the snow and ice actually stayed on the ground. It actually stayed on the ground on the grass for several weeks. And my gravel driveway, I didn't really shovel. It was like pretty frozen for a couple weeks. But generally here where I live, it's you'll get snow, the roads are terrible for a day or two, maybe 3, and then the sun comes out and melts it all and you're good. So as long as you got enough stuff to get you through a couple days, at the very least, do that. Now, I say be prepared as possible, and not to be prepper doom and gloomer, but you should always be trying to make yourself as self-sufficient as possible, just in case an emergency should arise. But we all know weather happens. We all know emergencies happen. Let's be prepared, people. Be prepared, check on one another, look out for each other, and don't be sending everyone out to deliver things to you. Like, I know people that'll scoff and be like, well, that's their job. They can do it. Well, yeah, it's kind of ignorant and entitled for you to be sitting home cozy in your house, heat, and it's kind of an elitist attitude. I'll just send the peasants out to do my shopping for me because I don't want to go out in the weather. So, end of rant there. I'm not just talking snow and ice. I know if anybody's watching that doesn't live where you get really snow and ice, although down south just got hit. They don't normally get it, so you never know what's going to happen. But hey, even in, California wildfires, there's preparedness you could take to plan for those. High winds, there's high winds can do damage. Stuff can go flying into your car, causing wrecks. And hey, if it's high enough, it could blow your car over. And then, the wildfires. I made a video, about that DEI stuff, talk about the wildfires a bit. So I'm not going to go on a rant on this video, but wildfires happen in California. You can be prepared there. Like I said, every situation, you can never have too much water. Okay, we all need water to survive. You got to stay hydrated, and then you might, hey, maybe you don't need it, but maybe you come across someone who's dehydrated or something like that. You give them bottled water. Pets, stray animals, you name it. So I didn't plan on having to make a video about this topic, but hey, bad weather came around and it happens every year. People aren't prepared or people are inconsiderate. And I just wanted to make a video about it, give a little perspective. You might be rolling your eyes like, what? Why do you even, it's common sense. Why do you even talk about this? Hey, common sense is not all that common in today's society. So anything you think might be common sense in today's society might need regurgitated and might need to be brought back up, because emergency services out there, too many people just rely on government, and one, a lot of them are too incompetent, but two, they're just so busy. Like when there's bad pileups and wrecks, all highway patrol and police officers are busy. Emergency services, think of 200-car pileup. That's a lot of potential people that need to go to the hospital, that need medical attention, let alone getting the cars out of the way so traffic can commute. So be considerate, slow down, take your time. You should probably slow down even if it's not inclement weather, because some of you be driving like complete a-holes. So gonna end the video there on that. didn't really go that long, but there's not that much to talk about. Like I said, it's common sense, but people seem to still be need reminded about things that are common sense. So be careful out there, be prepared, and till next time, Trad West Podcast out.